Hey, what's up, guys? I tried to get my UFC 114 recap and review video up the other day, but it ended up taking like 2 hours to upload, and then once it got uploaded, YouTube removed it because it was more than 10 minutes. So I'm not going to bother with, making another one of those and dealing with that again, but just a couple notes on that card. I didn't see the card. I was up in my cabin for Memorial Day. We didn't order the pay-per-view, don't get Spike up there. But I ended up being 6 for 11 on my picks. I got the Rampage Rashad fight exactly right. I picked Rashad to win by unanimous decision, and the Aaron Riley versus Joe Brammer fight on the undercard. I got that one right too. Riley by unanimous decision. And just a couple things about that card. Definitely got to give John Hathaway his due respect because he went out and dominated Diego Sanchez, and a lot of people, myself included, didn't really give him much of a chance against a UFC veteran like Sanchez. So props to him for that. And oh yeah, I want to see Cyril Diabate fight Brandon Vera sometime later this year because these guys, they're both veterans of the sport. They both got good striking. Vera's got pretty good ground game. I don't know anything about Diabate's ground game, but I think stylistically this would be a pretty good matchup. And John Jones did some pretty bad damage to Vera's face. So once that heals, I think he's out for a couple. He might be out for a couple more months. I'd love to see that fight. So yeah, I'll get my UFC 115 picks up pretty soon. I'll post that a little later in the day. But right now I got to go on a little bit of a rant because people are getting down on this UFC 115 card, Liddell versus Franklin. Saying, "Oh yeah, there's no top contender fights, there's no championship fights. There's only a couple guys who are top 10 in their weight class," and just shut up. I mean, the main event is Chuck Liddell versus Rich Franklin. Liddell's a Hall of Famer already. Franklin, I would not be surprised if he ended up being a Hall of Famer. And I don't know, even if there aren't your big fights like that, there's exciting fights on every card, and sometimes it's the ones with without the big top contenders that end up being some of the best cards, some of the best fights. So, and yeah, people are saying, yeah, I'm not even gonna bother ordering this card. Well, you know what? I've never ordered a card in my entire lifetime. Go to Applebee's, go to Buffalo Wild Wings. They usually have these cards. Pay $10, have some good food. Go with some friends and watch the fights. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever on this card because you think it's just a complete waste of your time, stay home. But at 8 o'clock, turn on Spike TV. Tyson, Fight of the Night Griffin, is fighting Evan Dunham for free. There's not much more you can ask for. Tyson Griffin, he's always in exciting fights. He's tied for the UFC record for most Fight of the Nights. I think like 5 of his 7 fights have been Fight of the Night. So, yeah, he's always in exciting fights. There's some major excitement there. And even on the main card, you got Chuck Liddell versus Rich Franklin again. Two veterans of the sport. Maybe they won't go after each other as much. Kind of have respect for each other. But Chuck's got the most Chuck's got the most knockouts in UFC history. Franklin's finished some guys of his own. Co-main event is Mirko Cro Cop versus Pat Barry. That's bound to end in a knockout. I mean, Cro Cop by high kick or Barry by punches. These guys they both love to finish fights. And I don't know, it's like I said, it's not always, the big main contenders that produce the exciting fights. I mean, look at UFC 114, Rampage and Rashad. That fight didn't even come close to living up to the hype that people had set for it, for almost a year now. But I mean, these things happen. And big example here, WEC 48. This was a little over a month ago. Main event was featherweight championship title fight between Jose Aldo, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet, and Uriah Faber, one of the best featherweights of all time, huge crowd favorite. And it was a good fight. I mean, dominated completely by Aldo for 25 minutes. Good fight, but definitely not, not competitive, not fight of the night stuff. The co-main event was Ben Henderson versus Donald Cerrone, which was a rematch of 2009's Sherdog Fight of the Year. And Henderson ended up finishing that off with a guillotine choke within 2 minutes of the fight. So the fighting night on that card was on Spike. It was Leonard Garcia versus Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie. Garcia won that one by split decision, and it was basically Forrest Griffin versus Stephan Bonner on a much smaller scale. These guys were just trading bombs for the entire time. Incredibly exciting fight. Easily your 2010 fight of the year frontrunner so far. So again, it just goes to show you that the main event championship fights, they don't always produce the fight of the night, the truly exciting fights. I think you have to go back to like UFC 102 Couture versus Nogueira to see a card where the main event was the fight of the night, and the championship fights recently. I guess both Shogun versus Machida. Sorry about that. The both Shogun Machida fights have been pretty exciting. I think the last one especially because everyone, most people wanted to see Shogun get his justice, and the BJ Penn versus Frankie Edgar fight, yeah, that was all right. But other than that, the championship fights, I can't think of any that have been truly exciting. I mean, Damian Maia versus Anderson Silva, that was a joke. GSP versus Dan Hardy. I mean, GSP, he should have easily finished him, and he didn't. It's kind of boring there. Lesnar versus Mia, their last fight was just completely dominated by Lesnar. So I don't know, championship fights, maybe they don't make for the most exciting fights because guys don't want to take the huge risks. But I don't know, if you're down on UFC 115, I'm not sure what kind of MMA fan you are, because true fans, we show up to see exciting fights. Am I right? I mean, obviously we all have our favorite fighters, and we all have there are the guys like Lesnar and Kimbo that are always the big draws. But we want to see good fights, and that's all. And if you're really down on UFC 115 because oh yeah, there's no championship fights, no top contenders, none of that. Well, Paul Thiago's a top contender. He's a couple good wins away from fighting for the title. Tyson Griffin, he's getting up there. So I don't know, if you're down on this card, think it's not exciting, go watch Desperate Housewives or something. Leave the card to us MMA fans. So all right, yeah, I'll have my UFC 115 picks coming at you in a bit. Take it easy.